So this is kind of oddly enough, a follow-up to the video that I have just recently posted concerning that we really don't know what time it is. We don't know what year it is. Now, here is the disturbing thing. We live in a time where our whole perception of our reality is being altered. But one of the things that we have been able to do is have certain things that are like the critical foundation, to a belief system, your belief system, my belief system. In one of those tools in science, which then translates to history, is the fact that you would always hear the argument, well, the carbon-14 data testing showed such and such. And then it was thus established that this is what time is, because time is age, and age can be validated by what is seen through radioactive decay. And that really is kind of like the principle of everything. Well, guess what? At Cornell University, and here is the article, new radiocarbon cycle research may alter history. How often is it now becoming to our consciousness that time, history, is not what it seems to be and is constantly in flux and change? Here it goes on to say, the scientific research often depends on a degree of certainty in the data while allowing for a likelihood of change. New findings overriding old theories and creating new ones. Change is a given, especially true when taking weather and climate into account. This goes on to talk about this archaeologist, Stuart Manning, and colleagues have revealed variations in the radiocarbon cycle at certain periods of time, affecting frequently cited standards used in archaeological and historical research relevant to the southern Levant region, Israel, southern Jordan, and Egypt. These variations or offsets of up to 20 years in the calibration of precise radiocarbon dating could be related to climatic conditions. They went on to say that Manning, the Goldwin Smith Professor of Classical Archaeological in the Department of Classics and Director of Cornell Tree Ring Laboratory, is the lead author of Fluctuating Radiocarbon Offsets Observed in the Southern Levant and Implications for Archaeological Chronological Debates, published May 29th. It goes on to say, pre-modern radiocarbon chronologies rely on standardized northern and southern hemisphere calibration curves to obtain calendar dates from organic material. The current North Hemisphere standard is International Cal 113, published in 2013. So they're always having to adjust and to update. But you didn't know that, did you? I didn't. These standard calibration curves assume that at any given time, radiocarbon levels are similar and stable everywhere across the hemisphere. The Cornell-led team had questions and suspicions. We went looking to test the assumptions behind the whole field of radiocarbon dating. We know from atmospheric measurements over the last 50 years that radiocarbon levels vary through the year. And we also know that plants typically grow at different times in different parts of the Northern Hemisphere. So we wondered whether the radiocarbon levels relevant to dating organic material might also vary for different areas and whether this might affect archaeological datings. And I won't go on to read it. I'll leave the link. What you can see here is, again, discrepancies. Even within the scientific community, discrepancies. And if there is the slightest variation to radiocarbon dating, as such as this, and fluctuations of northern, southern hemisphere, again, fluctuations in organic matter, it becomes very difficult it's like herding cats. How many of us remember as children playing with mercury? It's one of those things that you can't corral it. And so I'll let you go on here. They're obviously still doing more work on this, but you cannot help but think that the slightest variations, no matter how minute they may be, have a tremendous impact on the much larger things, particularly what we perceive time to be. What is history? And then it becomes further more divisive in how it's applied. It can be used as a bridge or it can be used as an axe. No doubt we do live in a time of where everything is changing, including radiocarbon dating.